Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Gauntlet, your place for the NFL and everything else on the Sideline Sports Network. Also with NGBN TV, the TV network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, empowering men and their mental health. The sneak peek launch, I should say, is set to take place January 29th on this month, available soon on Roku, on Amazon Fire, and all your other TV applications. So stay tuned for the sneak peek. We got a loaded show for you guys tonight. I got Jacob Christner in the house. Jacob, friend of the show, host of the Pundit's Pundit. Make sure you guys check his shows out during the week on Sideline Sports. We got JJ in the building, and of course we got Jay. We got a lot of stuff to get to. What's up, boys? How we feeling tonight?
Yo, should I have on like a smoking jacket with a cigar and like in front of the fireplace or something?
You got some background music, man.
Because the music, man, I'm like,
game up, man. We're not.
I use it.
All these other shows you see, like anybody can get four guys on a screen, but not everybody can produce a great show, man. But we can produce a great show.
Oh yeah, man.
That's for damn sure.
You
and
do
I gotta
look
get
like a Pillsbury White.
You guys know how I gotta get us started tonight. It's time for a rapid fire session. So, first question: the Green Bay Packers made the playoffs. Did the Green Bay Packers win the Aaron Rodgers trade already?
No.
Nah.
No, and the reason I'm going to say no is we don't know how good the Jets can be when they have Aaron Rodgers. So let's have this conversation next season.
Yeah.
One of the hottest topics this week was the Saints going for a touchdown as they were lined up in a victory formation. Guys, how do we feel about this? Was this a Bush League move? Was this classless by the Saints?
I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
I don't care.
Well, meh.
As much as people want to say it is, I don't got a problem with it. I feel like, what's the difference between losing 41-17 and 48-17? Either way, you got trash.
You know what the difference is? The bettors. You know, all the gamblers and everything. You kind of
probably the difference. But Arthur Smith, that move probably actually helped Arthur Smith further out the door. So I actually love the move. He's horrible.
Yeah. We got Grizz in the house. What's up, Grizz? Thank you for tuning into the show, bro. So, next one. The Chicago Bears, and I really want to hear Jacob weigh on this. The Chicago Bears should trade the number one pick for the second year in a row.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes or no?
I don't. I am halfway between. I want Justin Fields gone because I hate the fans, but at the same time, I sure as hell do not want Caleb Williams. I do not want painted nails and crying all over that place. One thing I know about Justin is at least he's a warrior. So
Justin wants to stay in Chicago, I think.
He does. If it keeps Caleb Williams the heck out of here, yeah, I'll get down, but get him an OC.
The reason I'm going to say yes is because the Bears will get, even though they got considerably a lot from the Panthers last year, guy like Caleb Williams, all the hype around him, I think they'll get considerably more. JJ and Jay, what do you guys think?
No. You know, you keep Justin Fields and then go get him a true number one, in my opinion. MHJ is on the board for the taking. Why not go get him?
Go get if you keep Justin, get an OC. They're not and the offensive coordinator for real, because these are ridiculous.
I like that answer. So was the Titans getting rid of Mike Vrabel the right decision?
Wrong.
No.
Well,
hey JJ with your Barry White music, what do you think?
On which question? Because I didn't get a chance to answer the previous one.
Oh, okay. So what was your thoughts on should the Bears trade the number one pick or not?
Traded. I don't need Caleb Williams. Justin Fields, I have seen enough to feel like he's an answer. Real tough. And I will challenge Jay on this. I will challenge Denzel on the sense that he has the number one. DJ Moore is not no number two. DJ Moore is the number one. They just need an offensive line. Get them an offensive line. They have everything. And they need another wide receiver, a number two, and then you'll be all right.
Yeah, but get it. Yeah, but when you have the OCs like they had Matt Nagy and Luke Getsy, who are not original whatsoever.
No, I understand because I've had Marty Morheweg and Greg Roman. I gotta get it.
At least Greg Roman had 4 Tecmo Bowl plays that he can mess with that look fun and exciting. There's nothing that way with Getsy.
Sir, the OCs we had was Mark Trestman and Marty Morheweg back to back. I get it. I totally get it. So yeah.
All right. So, what about the Titans firing Mike Vrabel? Wrong decision or right decision?
Wrong.
Honestly, a decision I don't care about because at the end of the day, it didn't shock me, but I think they're trying to clean house and try to start anew.
I mean, the Titans, when did they make a right decision? Getting rid of A.J. Brown, wrong decision. The GM gets fired. Vrabel gets fired. So what do the Titans do right? So, I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I don't even really think it matters.
Now, they say that he
Titans are cleaning house.
They say that he was kind of content on where he was, and that's the problem for them. Which I understand that. You don't want to stay where you are. You got to continue to kind of improve.
All right. So Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars collapsed. Did Trevor Lawrence prove this season that he's overrated?
No.
Nah. I don't.
I think he did. If you saw what he did, particularly in that last game of the season, in those big moments, he clinched up and he didn't look like he could handle it. So
he didn't have the right shampoo.
Until further notice, I have to say Trevor Lawrence is overrated.
I'm gonna say no, just because, and this is just my opinion. Down the stretch, I wonder just how banged up he really was.
Yeah, they forced him in. They didn't want CJ Beathard in that last game, but I'm like, to me, he just had the wrong shampoo.
I don't think
that wraps us up, guys, for the step into the Gauntlet segment. So what about...
hold on. I didn't get a chance.
Okay, go right ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I thought we was going in a circle, but cool deal. No, I don't think he's overrated at all because they dealt with a lot, and he was hurt, and they didn't have their full arsenal for a lot of the games that year. Zay Jones missed out and everything like that. At the end of the day, he's young. He's not like he's 35, he's 36. The world bothers me when they get this instant gratification mess because it is absolutely the most illogical thing that you can ever assess. Nobody, if you're going to recognize when you talk about sports that guys don't hit their peak until they're like 26, 27, why are we talking about a guy that's not even 25? I don't get it. He's not overrated. They just had a rough year. Most quarterbacks go through that. Peyton Manning went through that. Tom Brady went through that. Aaron Rodgers went through that. They all went through it. We're not 6-7 years down the line. So he's not overrated in my opinion.
Well, he was also banged up. He just was.
And that's not nothing to say. That's not nothing to say towards you. I'm more so every day I see something, I'm just like, the guy just got here. Like, great, my goodness. Like, did you know your job within 5 months of being there? Did you know everything about it? Did you know every in and out? Did you know where to go, how to figure everything? No. So why are y'all sitting there looking at this guy like that? Come on now.
We'll replace Lamar Jackson with him then.
I don't give a crap.
All right, we're about to get off the rails here, so we got to get into our sports morons of the week. The part of the show we look at the worst takes in sport. Does anybody want to start us off today?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Yes, we did this on Pundit's Pundit. We're gonna do it here. I did it on my TikTok. Hello, Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. You are the morons, both of you. You are especially Whitlock. Yeah, you are the morons. You're 56 years old and you're getting into a 9-year-old's fight. Whitlock is the moron just because he is on a niche station, conservative station, that he wouldn't have anything without getting the 5,000 people he got from mentioning Stephen A. Smith's name. And Stephen A., you're an idiot for acknowledging it. You're an idiot for acknowledging it because you just gave him life. Oh, and by the way, you said this was your last one. No, you just did it again today. You just did it again today. I'll see you back. I haven't finished mentioning him yet. You just keep adding it on to it. You're idiots. You're stupid. It's time to stop this. Both of you are dumb, regardless of who I'm going to agree with. You're acting childish.
So I want to ask you a question, Jacob.
Sure.
In this world, you make money by getting views, getting ratings, getting everything going. I would not be surprised. Do you think that, I'm going to let you talk crap about me, and then I'm going to talk crap about you, because why? What's going to happen? I'm going to have everybody pay attention to us. What happens to that money? Stephen A. Smith said on television, there are two things I think about. Shout out to Charles Hopkins for bringing this up, my boy, everything. There are two things I think about. How to make my boss's money, and how to get some of it. This is all, I think, a stunt for them. This is the reality TV aspect of this in terms of sports, because I've seen this in reality TV. They just want to get views, straight up.
Understood, but here's the thing. This is between, and I was saying this on a TikTok today, you can never know. This could easily be the pro wrestling angle. You can do it, but why? Because here's the thing. Skip Bayless cannot stand him. Chris Broussard cannot stand him. Most of the people we talk about cannot stand him. Why would you get somebody back into the realm that so many people legitimately cannot stand?
Talking about Whitlock or Stephen A?
No, Whitlock. No, they love Stephen A. But why would I'm talking about they love Stephen A. I'm just saying you're putting Whitlock back into the realm. He has napalmed bridges. So many bridges, and you're putting him right back into the middle of it again. He's napalmed so many chances. Why would you do that? There's people that literally legitimately can't stand him. So it's not like you're getting people where people like him. Oh, please. Levitard can't stand him. No one can. So why would you give him this word and do this little quote-unquote pro wrestling angle if the rest of the world can't stand him?
That's a good point, man. I have a sports moron. It's the Detroit Lions fan base. There was a Detroit Lions group of fans that was trying to get a quote-unquote movement started ahead of the playoff game against the LA Rams, in which all Lions fans that wear a Matthew Stafford Lions jersey was to be banned from the game. First of all, chill out, bro. You're not on the team. You're not on the team. You don't have this kind of power to where you can say, oh, you're banned from the game. I mean, there's people that went to Eagles games wearing Carson Wentz jerseys. You think I wish I could ban them from the game? Because I do, but I cannot. Second of all,
you literally can't do anything.
Matthew Stafford was a really good quarterback on like a bunch of bad Lions teams. And most of the Lions organization and most of the fans, I would say, I wish Dom was here tonight to confirm, but I think they like Matthew out there. I don't think they have any ill will towards them. So you're trying to create some fake hostility ahead of a playoff game, and it just doesn't really work for me. And I just think it was kind of clownish of the Lions fans to do something like that.
I would agree. I mean, like, because there probably is going to be some tribute video when he walks on the field and some sort of standing ovation because he spent so long there. And however, the measure of, I wouldn't even say success, they have made the playoffs, I think, 2-3 times since he's been there. It was because of Stafford, you know, but to say, oh, well, I'm just going to ban people from, as George said it, you're still wearing the blue and silver, so like, what does it matter? But mind you, this owner, I mean, I remember, it actually reminds me of the 2014 NFC Championship game when the Seattle Seahawks franchise said that they were going to actually ban 49ers fans from attending, you know? I can kind of see that. They're the enemy, you know? Like how we're only going to sell to our folks only. All right, then bet, you know? But this right here, I mean, come on now. This is petty, you know? The city did not just all of a sudden hate Stafford. In fact, they cheered for him in the Super Bowl. So they got love for Stafford and always going to love the guy. Maybe not on Saturday night or Sunday night, excuse me. Maybe not on Sunday night, you know, but they're always going to love Stafford.
I mean, we're going to give a shout out to Ray Lynn, who's a friend of our show. He was wearing a Detroit Rams shirt after that Super Bowl, so that tells you what I think about Stafford. AJ, you want to weigh in on my sports moron, or you want to move on with the show?
I mean, I think it's just absolutely stupid. Like, I really think that there's just somebody just want to sit there and create something, see how it is, just to see people talk about it. Because you legally can't do anything. So obviously this is just a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna be
exactly
in my-
where
in
I'm
my
at,
new-
man. Like what Jay was saying about banning a team trying to
New
ban
York voice,
49ers.
who cares? In my New York voice, who cares?
And before we move
Who
on, as
cares?
far as the whole Jason Whitlock thing, and you already have heard my take on him 2 years ago, and you already see my banner down there on the screen. So all I'm going to say is this. If you replace the W with an S in his name, you got my exact opinion about the man.
Understood. And
that's stolen from Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I felt it was fitting for this right here.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Here's the thing also about the jersey situation. This is what I want this fan base to do. Not the emotional nitwit version of it, but the rest of the fan base.
All right, guys.
Get
Does
to that
anybody
game.
have anything else they want to add before we move on?
I was just saying this real fast. Get to that game, cheer your team, hope that you win, and when it's all over, if you do win it or you do lose it either way, give that guy a standing ovation because it's about it. And we are going to have the end of a warrior, which we're not going to see too many warriors like Matt Stafford around anymore.
No, just completely idiotic by the Detroit Lions. But guys, what about our Gauntlet grinders for Week 18? Do we have any Gauntlet grinders that we want to shout out from the AFC and the NFC for standout performances last week of the season?
Jake, it's pretty much me and you, man, so you can go first.
Oh, I can go first? Oh, nice. I can say this, by itself, I'm just going to have to say this. I mean, Justin, I'm going to say, not Justin, I'm sorry, Jordan Love. He proved me wrong. I'm going to say Week 18, but I'm going to do it through the whole year. He proved me wrong. That's for the NFC side. Proved me wrong. I thought he wasn't going to win a game. I was 3 years in onto the thing, and I absolutely thought this was Justin. I said I was right on one thing. I said this is Justin Fields' chance, and if they don't get him this year, they're not going to. I say that with Jordan. Jordan Love ended up getting more yards in one season than any Bears quarterback in history, ever.
Good Lord.
Yeah, the Bears are 38-38, and it's like almost 4,000 now for Jordan Love. Now the Bears record is 38-38, so it's like, yes, it was ridiculous. I was missed on that, but I give him credit. I also give the Packers fans, the Packers coaching staff credit. They never miss. This is why I want to see with the Bears. The Packers don't miss ever, and they are consistent. And I give the Packers franchise for the Week 18 the Gauntlet grinder because they are good year in and year out, and I wish the Bears would get there. And as far as the AFC, pull up the Miami team because they're going to have to play a 30 below zero wind chill. They're going to have to grind, but at the same time, it's their fault. Because they could have won that game. It's been in warm weather, so you get what you pay for.
Yeah, agreed. Well, okay, I'm just gonna say them. All right, so on the AFC side, and he actually mentioned Jordan Love, which was great. I think that his spot has been solidified in Green Bay by that performance. He has the chance to pull off the upset of the weekend, so best of luck to Jordan Love. On the AFC side, I've got wide receiver Nico Collins. And I know, just as, before I go into it, I know that this is week 18. A lot of teams are resting their starters, and it's kind of hard to, pick a grinder and everything. But Nico Collins in a winner-go-home game. 9 receptions, 95 yards, averaged 21.7 yards per reception, and a touchdown. Opening play, 75-yard touchdown reception. Can't get to a much hotter start than that. And a winner-go-home at Indy, 23-19. Also in the AFC, I've got Josh Allen, who closed the deal on the Miami Dolphins. 30 of 38, 359, averaged 9.4 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, passer rating of 101.6. He also added 15 carries for 67 yards. There was a meme that showed up on NFL memes that showed Josh Allen, being grabbed for a stop and surrounded by 2 other Dolphins, something like 6 yards short on the line to gain. And the caption read, "This play ended up in a first down for Josh Allen." That's how things were for the game for the Miami Dolphins. My third AFC grinder, I've got Najee Harris, 26 carries, 112 yards, a touchdown, and a win at Baltimore, 17-10. I know Baltimore rest their starters, but I've been wondering where this Najee Harris had been for the last 2 years, really.
I'm going to say, with that, I'm going to follow up with it. I mean, Mason Rudolph. What in the world happened to you? How in the world did you get this good? Because, let me tell you this. Kenny was ridiculous. Mitch was even worse. I looked at Mason, I'm like, he might actually have the first, even though Tomlin always seems to win these games. Mason put out 3 different times. And it's like 3 different times. Good Lord, he put out more than A.J. Hooker. I mean, seriously, it was kind of ridiculous, but he is. I mean, I don't know how this game, but you want to know what this is? It just means everybody loves Tomlin. Everybody is willing to go all out for this guy, and I appreciate them. And it just shows that there's a lot of teams that would still take Tomlin on their team as a coach.
Right.
Yes, they certainly would.
And then let's see, in the NFC, I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course. They won against Minnesota 30-20. He added 7 receptions for 144 and a score. He averaged 20.6 yards per catch. I think he actually he's due for a pretty big performance in the playoffs. So best of luck to him on that one. And last but not least, I actually want to send an honorable mention to running back Jonathan Taylor. Even in a losing effort, he had 30 carries for 188 and a touchdown. And on that controversial play, a lot of people thought the ball should have went to him, but that's a combo for another day. But Taylor went bananas on us. He went crazy on the Texans. But shout out to him for a gutsy grinder performance. That's all I got.
That wasn't. I'll tell you this. That sure wasn't Minshew's fault though. Because that guy dropped it.
I think it wasn't a good throw, but that's just
but it's like it was still catchable. I mean, I'm not saying it was a great throw. I'm saying
if Minshew puts it in his chest.
Yeah. Well, you're also talking to somebody who watched 2020 Bears in the playoffs and a perfect dime from 50 yards and went right through the arms. So that can happen too.
JJ, you got anything to add?
No. Yeah, I pretty much covered it. I really didn't pay attention to NFL because,
I thought you were going to say Tyler Huntley.
We was
bragging about his number 1 seed again is JJ Jenkins.
No, it's not bragging about the number 1 seed at all. I was focused on my sports bets, and all my sports bets' attention went to basketball. I didn't pay attention to NFL this weekend because, it wasn't my focus.
Speaking of bets, it's time for JJ's bet of the week. JJ, what do you have for us this week?
Kyron Williams rushing yards or any fantasy score against the Detroit Lions. Detroit has been up and down against running backs, but running backs that have speed combined with power have the ability to really get off on the Detroit Lions. He averages about 18 to 21 carries a game, and so by that default, that gives him a good opportunity to see if he can get that yardage. Personally, I think that's a good win because it's the end of the season, and if you don't win, you're going to get a chance to get knocked out, and the Rams do believe in their run game. So I think if you see Kyron Williams rushing yards at 5-6 underdog, you need to take him.
All right, and that concludes it.
That went real well. That went real well with the music.
Yes, it did. Can I do a bet of the week, James?
Say what?
Can I do a bet of the week?
Yeah, what's your bet of the week?
Cleveland, Houston, over under 65
Thanks, Cowboy.
65 over under?
Yes.
All right, you guys heard it here first. JJ and Jacob letting you guys know how to put some money in your pocket. On Wild Card Weekend. So get those cards, get those tickets turned in. Ladies and gentlemen, we had some shockwaves in the world of football this week. 2 legends of the game. We're going to start with Alabama coach Nick Saban announcing his retirement from college football. 201 and 29 record at Alabama, 23 bowl appearances, 10 SEC titles, and 6 national championships at the University of Alabama. Here's what the coach had to say about his exit from college football.
The simplest question of all. Why did you decide that this was the right time to retire?
No, I don't think there's any good time, especially when you're a coach. It took a little more out of me than usual, and when people mentioned the health issue, it was really just the grind of can you do this the way you want to do it? Can you do it the way you've always done it and be able to sustain it and do it for the entire season? And if I couldn't make a commitment to do that in the future, the way I think I have to do it, I thought maybe this was the right time based on those two sets of circumstances that, like I said, there's never a good time, but I thought maybe this was the right time.
All right, guys. So what comes to mind when we look at Nick Saban and his career as a coach? What stands out to you guys the most?
Man, for a guy like Nick Saban, who, and keep in mind, this is not, including his time at LSU where he won a national championship as well, but and in all of his days as just another tidbit, in all of his years as a head coach between Michigan State, LSU, and Alabama, the man never had a losing season and only went 500 twice. That's it. Having to jump to Alabama and becoming a part of their storied history where he had to follow guys like Bear Bryant, who was like the GOAT before he got there, right? Even Gene, you remember him, Jacob. Gene Stallings won
Absolutely.
Alabama.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, Dabo Swinney was a wide receiver for that 92 Crimson Tide team. So having to come there and turn that program around, who essentially was kind of like a mid-tier SEC school, and put them as a literal dynasty. They didn't just get listed as a dynasty in college football. They got listed as a dynasty in sports. So they got, mentioned with I know it's college ball, but I'm just saying as far as dynasties in sports, they got mentioned with the Patriots and the Lakers of the early 2000s and all the ones that we love to talk about, I mean, that's Nick Saban right there. Whenever you become so good that people become sick of you. And I've said a lot of times on a lot of platforms that he's never going to apologize for putting a good team on the field. So he got it in mind. Yes, we're going to be so good that you're going to be sick of us. But the man had to make his money. The man has, he can probably, he already didn't have enough, fingers for all the rings that he has, or even enough toes, but his resume is legendary. His rap sheet is phenomenal. Me personally, I don't foresee him coming back. The man's 72 years old. I think that this is it. He mentioned the health problem and everything. So, I mean, hats off to him. Hats off to a great career. It's awesome when Alabama kind of becomes the standard. It's like, okay, we win a national championship, but if we beat Alabama, it's almost as good, right? And you have that Slater monster mentality because that's just the type of program that Alabama built them up to be. Hats off to the Bull, man.
100%. JJ, what about you? Nick Saban, anything stand out to you about the coach?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think he understood that the game is passing him. And I think just like Coach Krzyzewski did in the NCAA basketball, he's doing the same now.
Duke
It's
basketball?
it's for the younger coaches. It's for the guys that are out here trying to really get it going. I mean, Harbaugh's not a young coach, but he has a young mentality. He has a young energy about him. And like nowadays, players are different now. He had an amazing reign from the time he got to Alabama to the time he ended. And that particular 09 to like 2015, 2016 stretch, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. But the game has changed. And the game has changed to a point where maybe he's not being able to out-recruit certain other teams like Washington, Michigan, USC, all of those type of teams in the game. But at the end of the day, he has a magnificent career. He forced Urban Meyer to retire pretty much. He is not retire, but get out of college football because of how they handled them during Tebow's senior season. Like, I remember so much about these Alabama squads, from the Terrence Cody's, the Rolando McClains, the Reuben Fosters, the Mark Ingles, Derrick Henry, Eddie Lacy's. All of those
Sean Alexander's
were so dominant. And I remember he's always a class act, for sure, no doubt. Great coach. People hated him because they couldn't beat him. But I think he knew that this was his time. You have I think you have the most college football titles of all time as a coach. What else do you have to worry about? You got it. Straight up. Magnificent coach. I actually liked him more when he won with LaRon Landry at LSU. I remember that Nick Saban. But we can think about it.
Jacob, how about you? When you look at Nick Saban,
Yeah,
what's the
absolutely.
first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, one of the greatest of all. I mean, he's probably the greatest of all time as far as college coaching. Here's the thing, though. 72 years old, he's going out at the right time. But I got to say this: as someone with an older dad who was 50 when I was born, who was in his 70s when he was helping the college kid get in, to move in and stuff, and stuff like that, I can tell you, people of that age can still have energy. He still had energy, but it's like he had energy and everything. But this is the thing you have to say: Nick Saban still has energy. So does Pete Carroll. But the one thing you got to say about age is how long before it goes away. And you got to say that can go fast at that age. You don't know. It can be a bad knee. It can be anything. And he was saying health issue. The thing is, he might just be better off sitting at the ESPN chair taking Lee Corso's place.
Right.
That'd be a great fit for him.
Yeah, it might be good for him. And it's like, but here's the thing. That is going to help him because you had Bear Bryant who left after a Holiday Bowl win when they're like 6-5 and he was gone in 6 weeks. He was dead because he couldn't figure what he's going to do with his life. He was just gone. He had bad health, everything. It was just done. That's not going to be Nick Saban. Nick Saban's going to be able to keep himself busy, whatever that health and that ESPN job would help him. It keeps you busy. But the big thing I have to say about age is there's nothing wrong with an old coach if the old coach still has energy. Everything with age, if you're older, you need to have the energy to match. I mean, we're not going to say anything about Pete Carroll. That guy still acts like a 30-year-old. I mean, he surfs, he does all that kind of stuff. I mean, even with that gray hair. It doesn't matter. But the question is, how long does it take? And the big thing I say about Nick Saban now, they're going to be running into a 12-man field, 12-team playoff. And they're running into NIL and all of those transfer portals. They're running into something like that, and he hasn't won for a couple of years. If he'd won this year, he probably would have stayed. But he's not going to get another chance now.
I don't know about that.
I'm not so sure, man.
Well,
You mentioned the health problem.
But I think at the end of the day, I think there's one thing I think we need to note that you just mentioned. He really did build most of his teams through recruiting, like actual recruiting. He didn't need NIL deals or any of that thing, but that's what the game is now. And sometimes as a coach, as a guy that's really prided himself on so many different principles and a really core foundation for your coaching methods, you see the game going in a direction you don't want to go, you be like, all right, you know what? I did it. I'm good. I'm not for this. I'm okay with where I am, and I'm happy to step down.
And plus the fact, this is the thing also, he's got 201 wins in one place. More than the thing whatsoever. What's he going to do, go after 300? That's never going to happen. That's the point.
No, I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, Saban's phenomenally special. We'll probably never see another one like him. But this just puts things into perspective. Just about his run in Alabama, not even his whole coaching career, not even LSU where he won a national championship as well. But for Nick Saban to go 201-29, and to Grizz's point here, I brought his comment on the screen, he knows how to produce NFL-ready players more than any other coach. Do you guys know that Nick Saban has produced more first-round picks, 44, than he had losses at Alabama, 29? I saw this stat.
That's insane.
And I thought this was one of the most insane stats that I've seen. So, absolutely incredible guy, absolutely incredible coach. But we got to talk about another coach. And this is one that some people I don't think are as receptive to. And both these guys are kind of similar in their demeanor and the way that they handle business. And that's Bill Belichick, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Belichick and the Patriots. It has been a discussion on this show, guys. Is this it for Bill Belichick with the Patriots? And that turned out to be the case. Here's what the coach had to say about his exit from the New England Patriots.
All right, morning. Those great memories, I'll carry with those with me the rest of my life. And of course, after Robert, thanks to assistant coaches. I've had so many great coaches here They've made my job so much easier. It's a long list, but the amount of work, preparation, and diligence that they do, every one of them. And I say this about the players and the coaches, regardless of how long they were here, how many years they were here, how many years they coached, or what the position was. It was a great team effort, and everybody, put everything they had into it, and that's why we were successful. So, from the coaches, the support staff, it's an amazing staff here that supported me in every way. All the scouting and all the football support people, from equipment, training, security, video, operations, and so forth, right down the line, dining room. I mean, it's all first class. It's all extremely good. And special thanks to Bears and Nancy. They've been here since day one, and made my life a lot easier, or I've made theirs a lot harder, however you want to look at it. But that's a big shout out to them. And of course, a great deal of thanks and appreciation to the players. Players win games in the NFL, and I've been very, very fortunate to coach some of the greatest players that have ever played. Some of the greatest players that have ever played for the Patriots. Some of them are already in the Hall of Fame. Many more are going. But again, regardless of how long any of the players were or weren't here, or what their role was, or how many games they played, or even if they didn't win championships, I respect the way the players come to work here on a daily basis. All
right, guys. So Belichick, I think it's the longest I've ever heard Coach Belichick speak. He's known for his one-word responses when it comes to the media. But I have to say, I'll just go ahead and get us started off here.
I couldn't hear anything, to be honest with you. I didn't really hear anything. I couldn't hear anything. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, yeah. Well, Belichick was just thanking, all the different people on the staff and Mr. Robert Kraft and the players and everybody involved with the organization. But I have to say, Belichick it's not really surprising. It's not really surprising to see him walk away from the Patriots. A lot of people speculated that this was going to happen throughout the course of this season. The way the Patriots were looking, they didn't make the playoffs last year. The last couple of years since Brady hasn't been there, it just hasn't been the same. The Patriots haven't looked like the same Patriots. So I have to say, a lot of people are speculating, should Bill go to another team? Should he go? My answer to that question is no. I don't think he should. I don't think he should go to the Chargers. I don't think he should continue to coach, because as great as you want to say Belichick is, I do think that the last few years has somewhat put a dent into his legacy. When you look at the way the Patriots have played, and for especially Tom Brady to go and win a Super Bowl without him, and then see such a downfall of this franchise after that, it kind of, I do think it's somewhat of an indictment on Belichick. So if you go somewhere and he fails as a coach on another team, then I think that's going to damage it even further. So I think Belichick has nothing left to prove. He's one of the all-time greats, 6-time Super Bowl champion. We know all this. I think the best thing for Bill to do at this point is to retire and hang it up.
I'll go real quick. Bill Belichick's first coaching position, his first post was as I had it here just a minute ago, and there it is. He was a Baltimore Colts special assistant in 1975. He's been in coaching in some form since he was 23 years old. So he's been, for the better part of 53 years. He's 72, something like that, 71. Half of me says, yeah, it's time for him to go. Just the things that he'd been through throughout the years. Not to mention and I know we're talking about his career with the Patriots and everything, but let's not forget the man was an awesome defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, helping them win 2 rings. So the man in total has 8 Super Bowl rings. But also, I think something inside of him, because like head coaches, they're egotistical to a degree. You kind of have to be there, take that position, And I think something in him wants to catch Don Shula. That's the reason why. If he already had Shula's record, he'd be like, "No, I'm done. I would have retired." Think something wants him to catch Don Shula. That's the reason why he wants to go to another team and coach. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. Records are meant to be broken. I'm not mad at it, but I'm also not mad if he walks away. Also, because again, 50-something years in coaching is what it is.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. It's like, this is what I say. This is coming from, like I said, I've got a little bit of experience with the older generations and everything. When you get older and you've done something all your life, if you don't have it anymore, sometimes you lose the will to live. He's had something to do for the last 53 years. You know what I'm saying? And special assistant to that, he was with Detroit. Imagine what Detroit's saying, look what we had. You know, that sort of deal. But this is the thing, though. He's also, part of his ego is the fact that in one case he got to a playoff game with Mac Jones. That's impossible. So he gets that bragging right. Another thing is it just got worse and worse and worse. And it shows, just like it shows with Tomlin, you need quarterbacks. You do. I mean, we talked about Mason, good job for him, but that's not going to be the Super Bowl quarterback. You got to win no matter who you're with. At the same time, those two helped each other because Bill Belichick and that coaching staff had to groom Tom Brady to get in there. He was only throwing like 50 yards when he first got in the league. So they had to make him better. So it's a team effort. So I really believe he's going to give this another chance, like the Chargers have Justin Herbert, because we know he'll make the playoffs that way. Would he win it? We don't know. But the biggest thing is once you get to a certain age, and this is the same with Pete Carroll, I don't think he's going to last long. As in, considering someone who surfs and works out like he does, he's not going to want an office job. He's full of energy, and it's like you can sit yourself to death. It's basically what happened to Vince Lombardi. He sat himself for a year, went to Washington. By that time, he got cancer. You know what I'm saying? He went 1 year with the Redskins, the then Redskins, and then he was gone. And then basically he got stomach cancer. He was gone. And that's what the thing is. Sometimes you just have to keep on going and doing what you love, and you just got to do it as long as you are, because you can have no purpose and that's it. So I see him keep going. Then again, one more thing. I would love to see him and Saban have the ultimate podcast.
Interesting.
About coaching and the stories and what they would do in this situation. Could you imagine that?
I would actually tune in.
Yes.
Yeah. Even Saban's 30 for 30 is going to be like off the charts when it comes out. It'll happen.
Oh, yeah, two-parter. It'll be 2 parts, just like Lombardi was.
Has to be. Where's JJ?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand what's going on with my camera, but I'm going to log back out and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be right back with JJ and hear his take on Belichick. But while we're still here, why don't we go over some of Bill Belichick's accomplishments with the New England Patriots. So, Bill Belichick, obviously 6-time Super Bowl winner with the Patriots, only head coach with 7 seasons of 13-plus wins, 7 division titles, most by a head coach, 19 postseasons with a playoff berth as a head coach, and a record 31 playoff victories as a head coach. So this guy's absolutely got the resume to back it up. What do you guys think about his legacy? Is he the greatest ever?
Do you know how hard it is to do that? I grew up with Ditka, okay? I grew up with this. He had 8 playoffs in 12 years. After his last thing, they let him go. He had 11 years, 8 and 11 years. He had to go do that type of thing. He dominated for about a 5-year stretch, and yet it went. Then the second time around, it was all close games like Tomlin is right now. That's the whole thing with it. Do you know how hard it is to be 7 times with 13 wins? You know how
even though it looks easy, it
makes it look easy. That's the point. It's hard to win in this league. And James, I want to say this to you, and I want to bring this to you. I know you're all frustrated with Sirianni and toughness with Philly. I just want you to understand, and I'm not doing it to hate on you or do anything. We're bros, you know what I mean? I just want you to understand how hard it is to win like 11 games 2 years in a row, even if you struggled on that, and how you can get a bad coach in a hurry. And I just want you guys to continue to be able to do this, and it's a mistake based off of emotion. That's why I say this stuff about Philly, because it can be. We had Lovie Smith. They ended him at 10 wins in his last season. They've had one time since. It can happen.
Sirianni he is probably not going to get fired.
But I'm just saying,
even if they lose.
Yeah, you're right, but it's like you guys your fans get emotional with it. I'm not saying it's too bad to you. I just want you guys to understand. It can get a lot. I mean, they killed Lovey at a 10-win season, and they've had one since. It can happen to anybody. I just want everybody to know that.
Doug Peterson was kind of put in the same situation. So my whole position on this is this. Sirianni has his relationship with Brian Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator of the Eagles now, taking over for Shane Steichen, who did a great job this year. Even though the Colts didn't make the playoffs, Steichen has totally turned that team around. There's no question about it. And there's no question that Steichen was a big reason for the Eagles' success last year. When Doug Peterson was fired, basically because he took up for this young coach, Press Taylor, who's his OC in Jackson. He was with him in Philadelphia, QB's coach. So if he's taking up for this young coach, Sirianni's taking up for this young coach. But you fired Doug, who won a Super Bowl. But if Sirianni is hell-bent on keeping Brian Johnson, then it becomes a little bit hypocritical to me.
Well, realize he got a Super Bowl, then he got 11 wins, and then 9 wins, and then 4 wins, then they fired him. Not at the 11th win and then fired. That's all I was saying.
Okay.
Like Sirianni definitely, if he keeps losing, you got to fire. But it's like firing him too early can be a disaster. I know this from my team.
They'll probably keep him for another year, and if the Eagles don't make the playoff next year, then he's gone.
Oh, I'm in agreement. But it's like you got to find the proper one. I just don't want him gone while there's coaches out there in a really big coaching market. He had, that looks like 13 wins and a Super Bowl and 11 wins. That's what they're going to look at, and it's like, can we trust this franchise? If he gets fired while he's bad, then you can get your coaches. But the Bears still can't get a dang coach.
I gotcha.
Yeah. What's wrong with JJ?
JJ, are you with us?
I think something's up with this phone.
I think something's
We
up.
can probably move to the next topic. We got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so if JJ happens to come back in, we'll ask him if he has anything to say about Belichick. But it's time for the non-sports topic, guys. And the non-sports topic gets a little bit juicy on this show. It's going to get juicy tonight. When it comes to being the breadwinner, should a man have to do things like housework, chores, etc., if they're providing all the money for the house, paying all the bills, doing everything? What do you guys think?
Yes. Yeah. The reason I say that part by itself is this is such a lot of men now, and I talk about this with men. Men are in a crisis mode. I've said this you've heard me say this before. You've heard me say this before, Denzel. Men are in crisis mode. I've said it on Twitter. I've said it on Facebook. It's like they're in crisis. And the reason they're in crisis is because they got this 1950s mindset when they're not the same man. They're not. You got to realize during those times they were fixing cars and they were doing all the housework, like the physical housework. It's like now you go on YouTube and you'll go get everything there. You go call somebody to get it in and then you fix it. Different time. So yeah, they need to help with the laundry. They need to help with the kids. They do need to have all that. And really, the biggest thing about it is men and women, husbands and wives. I'm going to say men and women, not people. Men and women, husbands and wives. They have a thing where it's got to be a team right now because both are more likely making the money out there in the first place. And there are some men that are basically doing all the housework. and the women do that. That's a different day. It's a different day now. So I truly have a belief that if the men come home and they were like the mechanic, I believe that because I think they need. Remember, you're paying bills with her and everything like that. I believe you need to be a team. It's a new world now. That doesn't mean you're less of a man. It's just because. Just don't have the woman getting down on the ground and changing your tire with her kid in her arms while you're watching it.
Yeah.
You still need to have a man's side to you. You know what I mean?
No, I think Jacob. I think you're cooking with that take. I totally agree. I think that just because you're the man, just because like I'm the breadwinner, I pay all the bills, etc. That doesn't give me the pass to be a piece of shit. It doesn't give me a pass to be lazy. It doesn't give me a pass to be disgusting and, leave crap all over the house and dirty dishes and the kitchen's a mess. Like, as a man, I think that you should take pride in trying to help your woman and clean up after yourself and trying to do what you can to support her because even if you think, working at a job all day is hard and you got to deal with all this stress at work, there's stress in the home. Taking care of the kids, being at home all day with that, like, that's hard as well. So I think we have to look at this and be fair from both perspectives. And Jacob, as you alluded to, it's a team thing. So that's my
It is. And Denzel, you remember the movie National Lampoon's Vacation?
Yeah.
Remember one of the very first, like the third scene in the whole thing? Remember they're washing dishes together?
Yeah.
Guess what?
What's wrong with that?
That was near 50 years ago. You understand? That's 45 years coming up. That movie. You understand? That's that part. 1980.
Right.
That's how long ago? This is not 1950s. And it's like, oh, there's Ward. And the wife's going to do all the thing. There's none of that. It's like that was 45, 50 years ago. So we just got to get over this whole thought process. Guess what? Let's get over the thought process that women can't want a strong man. Get over that too. But let's get over the thought process that you can't be a teammate for a woman. Period.
Yeah, you absolutely can be a teammate. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of telling people, what works in a marriage or anything like that, because in truth, it works different for different married couples. And one thing that I'm sick of seeing online is, oh, well, he should do this, she should do that, and blah, 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 and he should pay 100%. And whoever's going 50-50, blah, blah. Listen, there's people out there that go 50-50 on the bills and they're happy. There's one where the guy's paying everything and they're happy. Whatever works for them. With that being said, there's nothing wrong with that man assisting with the housework. He comes home and, eats a hot meal or whatever and wants to assist with cleanup. Hey, that's cool, I think he should. She's been, especially if they have like young children, because child rearing is like, a job in itself, right? Especially when they're real young. When they get a little, self-dependent, that's a different story. They're still children, but it's a different story. But when they're, between infant and toddler, especially when they're toddler, that right there can be a handful. A lot of them will tell you, so yes, he should assist. The only thing that I have against are just flat out lazy wives. And I've seen this on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I've seen it over and over and over. That man will work a 12-hour shift, come home, and the house be dirt. You would be surprised the houses I've seen on base in the military, and it is a pigsty. And the woman was there all day, and he's busting his ass at work.
So is Peg Bundy.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And but it's stuff like that. It's like this dude has been working on these planes all day. This dude has been going and guarding these planes all day and whatnot. I mean, shoot, unfortunately, back in 2012, there was a child death on Dyess Air Force Base. And that guy was in the desert when their child died, and the mother was hit due to negligence. She served 30 years in prison. Whoever responded to that house, it was a literal pigsty. It was a literal pigsty. Like it's too deep. Like for this episode, let's just say that the other two kids there, they almost died because they were malnourished. But the house was just like a complete like.
That's just horrible.
But back into the context of things is the only place where I draw a line is a lazy wife, in which I would say fellas, vet these women properly before you go marrying them, and for sure, vet them before you go sticking a baby in them.
Why do you think I'm 45 and waited this long? My dad was 50 for his last kid. I'll be 50 for my first. If that happens. But I vet, and I'm doing it. I'm making sure of the deal because you want this to work. You want someone you love. If they would pass early, you want the proper grief. Not, I've had friends who lost their wives early and then they marry 6 months later.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to handle 4 kids or something. And it's like, we want to have the proper grief that you would have. But the biggest thing about this does not mean the man gets wimpy. I am telling you, I work in a place where I work. You want to know we have about a half a mile hallway taking trash down, maybe the quarter of a mile hallway taking trash down. It looks like a really dark parking lot, It smells like trash. We take that thing down. Guess who does it? Me.
Yeah.
Guess who helps when we're closing? Because it's a lot of women where I'm working at night who they want. Me. Guess what? This is not on internet where you're pretending, the men stink. The vast majority of women still want a strong man.
Yeah.
Vast majority still want a strong man helping. They do. So we've got to quit this whole internet thing of, it's like, the women can handle themselves. Yes, they can be able to do that, but the majority of the women that still want that can handle themselves still want a strong man that can help them. Mm-hmm. They do. End of story. And I'm just saying that. So guess what? You can help with the chores. It doesn't make you less of a man. You can help with all that stuff. It doesn't make you less of a man. Period. But guess what? Make sure you know how to be a handy man and do all that stuff also, because women know how to do this now.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's about it.
So that about wraps us up for tonight. You guys have been tuning into the Gauntlet, part of the Sideline Sports Network on NGPN TV, the network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, empowering men's mental health. Stay tuned for the sneak peek launch on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and all your other TV applications. Coming very, very soon. Expected to launch for a sneak peek launch on January 29th, 2024. Big things happening in 2024 for the Gauntlet, for Sideline Sports. Absolutely amazing stuff, guys. Jacob, thank you, man, for being on the show. Do you want to say anything before we get off?
I feel all very good, and I appreciate this is my I believe 18th episode, and I appreciate you guys every single time. It's because this is the one.
It's been 18. Damn.
This is number 18. Yeah. This is the
come back. Anytime you come back, just tell me or Jay. And
I ask. Here's the thing, and I just say this: I love coming back anytime, but this is the thing. One of the things about it is what my dad used to teach me: let him come to you. And it's like when I
like that.
Yeah, let them come to you. I don't beg. I don't get anything because I know you. I know if I let them come to me, they want me.
Well, you're always welcome, man. And the fans, the Gauntlet fans, all our viewers, they love it when you come on the show as well. Definitely one of the fan favorites over here, Jacob. But thank you guys all for tuning in. Another fantastic episode. We will see you next Friday. Same time, same place.
Same JJ connection, same bat channel.
Hopefully not. And we will see you guys then. Until then, take care and Happy New Year.